my friends. I'm going to try to make this video. This is actually an updated version to a video that I had done 2 years ago, September 23, 2023, where I was reviewing this session right here. Doeth or doth, doeth or doth. The harbinger approacheth. Remembering the future was what I called the video. Interesting how it was September. I did this session September 22, 2022. A year and 1 day later, I did that review, and now September 9, 2025, I'm going to do another review of it because it is becoming more relevant. As the session was, this is from my own personal archives, I call it my ongoing project, messages from myself from the future to look at potentials. So September 22, 2022. I'm getting this object is coming through. Is it a meteor or a comet? I don't know. I'm just seeing this big object flying through the sky. So I'm like, what's going on with it? And I'm getting something is going to happen in 2023, a year later, because I did this in 2022. So I'm wondering, what is this? Is it like a messenger or a harbinger? One of my favorite words there, harbinger. First came up for me in the Hammurabi sessions that we did for Future Forecasting Group, and I had the harbinger was coming, a harbinger. Is it astrological? Is it an impact? I wondered. What is going on? What does this mean? An impact, lights out? This is very kind of metaphysical. But this is what came into my mind at the time. Time has ended. The old clock expired. The new clock, the new time clock starts. New time begins. The Rubicon has been passed. This era very well is the time frame from my 1985 experience. So this came into this session here. And what I mean by that is that in 1985, I had what I considered a projection into the future. I changed my mind about what that might have been about 2 years ago. But this is what happened. One night, this was in early 1985, I was 16 years old living in Chicago. And I became lucid in a dream. And I was in pitch blackness. And a second later, I'm on this street here. I'm floating down the street here. And I pan to my left, and these buildings are all blown out. There's a tree here. There's a building here. There's rubble all over the street. Everything's blown up, blown out. And I was floating just like this, looking to my left here. And then it was over. I woke up in the morning, and I initially didn't remember the experience, and then I remembered it. And when I remembered it, a huge download of information came into my mind about the future. And it was contrary to everything that I was being programmed into at the time when I was 16, of work and retire and this and that and all that. The system that was very relevant in 1985 wasn't going to be the system. That system would be completely gone by the time I hit that age. None of that would be there. Money was going to change. Everything was going to change. Everything that I was being told to prepare for wasn't going to be there for me by the time I hit that age. And I talked about it, and they thought I was crazy. And I felt like I was going crazy. But all I could say was, I saw the future. And it's not like what you're saying. What you're saying isn't going to be there. I caught a lot of shit for that. But what it did was, this event completely altered the course of my life. every major decision that I made after that was based on this, based on this. I'm sitting here talking right now because of this. This was very, very relevant and important. It was a life-altering experience. So this session I did in 2022. I was saying that this scene could happen in 2023. So what happened in 2023, late 2023, was a series of remote viewing sessions that we did with Future Forecasting Group that later got termed our Luminosity event, which came out not right around the time of this, that I did this. The target that we were working on, none of us got. We all got war scenes. There was they were war scenes. We did debrief it. We're all like, we don't understand any of this. None of us got anything related to what we were asked to remote view, but we all got war scenes. A few weeks later, the Hamas invasion of Israel and the killing of all those innocent people happened. Then it made sense, because we did that debrief maybe a week and a half prior to that event happening. Then it made sense. When the Hamas Israel event happened, my reaction to that event was physical. I developed a huge welt on the back of my neck. I couldn't turn my head for a couple of weeks because of the overwhelming sense of concern that I had from the events that took place on October 7, 2023. That the response from Israel from that event was going to be the catalyst for something much bigger. And it happened. The response was and continues to be big. There's an image here that I found. Let me see if I can find it now. Hang on. See if I can find it. There was one that looks just like what I saw. Maybe I can't find it now. With the tree and the blown out buildings and everything. Well, I can't. There it is. Here. There. With my tree and everything. The blown out building. The concern isn't for me to take a side. It's not for me to take a side for either side. I'm not taking sides. I'm only going through this. I'm like an alien from another planet who shows up and looks around and says, well, I don't know what's going on, but this is what I see. That's my perspective on it. This did happen in 2023, just like I had mentioned here in my session from 2022. It did happen in 2023. Let's move on. So I had to ask now, if it does happen in 2023, what are the rest of the details? War and destruction exist at this time. Systems are halted, most not to resume. Would I call it a world war, though, I wondered? It's a good question. I call it a destruction. In this area, it's total. The looks of the structures would appear to be residential. The sun feels cold. I don't see any snow on the ground. I don't detect any life. The rubble is all over the place. including all over the street. I get a memory sense that up ahead is a building, meaning I'm remembering the dream that I had from 1985. It's like a warehouse at the end of the street here. The area feels residential with industrial as well, a working class area. Railway tracks behind the building. I'm wondering if these are tracks. Then I had to wonder here, this might be from a different dream, maybe. The area is silent. There's no signs of life. I have no emotional reaction to what I am observing. Could this be the moment of my own death, I wondered. The scene is very dead looking. If it is the moment of my own death, where am I wondered. The notion could just be speculation. The retirement system of 1985 would not be there for me at that age. At current time, when I did this back in 2022, I'm 53 years old. 12 years to 65 retirement age. That would be 2034, 2035, between now and then. 2023, which is the destruction era, to 2034, I call those the battle years. Feels very heavy battle for several years. This is the link, 1985, 2023, my dream projection, and what is considered retirement age, which would be these are time markers for myself. Now the interesting thing about this and this is that prior to the October 7 event, I do Wim Hof breathing meditations where I'll do for 30 to 40 minutes deep, 30 rounds, deep inhale, exhale, deep inhale, exhale, 30 rounds, hold my breath out for a minute, 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes, big inhale, 15 seconds, hold, and then start another round of 30 deep breaths. Prior to the October 7th event with Hamas killing the people in Israel, for about 2 weeks prior to that date, in my breathing meditations, I would continue as I'm laying there doing the breathing. I would every single time I would go back in my mind back to the 1980s, back when I was a teenager, and I'm living back in the 80s in my mind while I'm doing the breathing. It was very, very unusual. I was even questioning it myself. Why do I keep doing this? Why is this happening every single time? The events of October 7th take place. Hamas invades Israel, kills all those people, starts the war. From that date on, I go and do my breathing meditation. I'm not going back in my mind to the 80s anymore. I had to contemplate that. Why? My feeling on that is that in 1985, I may not have projected into the future. I may have, in 2023, projected back to myself in 1985, or I met in between with a message from the future, because I got to get the message out. Let's see what happens next. So there it is. There's the link. 1985 to 2034. Then, if this is the case, I can remember the era of 2023 to 2034. Remember the chain of events. How do the chain of events unfold, I wonder? Now we're looking at this time frame here. That comet in the sky is an indicator, a time marker. The season feels cold, like November through February span. This time frame here. comet is in the sky. Is it this? Comet 3I Atlas? Is that the comet? Is that the harbinger there? This guy? The comet is in the sky, and it's an indicator, it's a time marker. The season feels cold, like November through February. What are the events, though, I wonder? An explosive event and chain reaction. Several explosions. The world waits anxiously. Then the next round. The battle lines are drawn. What looks like two nuclear, maybe, exchanges. A radioactive exchange. Then stop. Location 1, Location 2. This is one event. The use of these weapons rearranges affairs and alliances. There are shifting of sides. There is no power and electricity in these areas. Everything stops. Things around the world stop. There is a halt of everything, like a shock wave. This ends event 1. The world stops. Then this was from a dream that I had right at that time, and I saw this gun, an assassin's bullet, and then these birds, a green bird and a blue bird. Very interesting. Something about September. Something about September. Because now we just heard today that Israel has dropped a bomb or did something to Qatar. So, an escalation. That's why this is now relevant. Because again, when the October 7, 2023 event happened with Hamas and Israel, my feeling was, and still is, that would be the catalyst. The catalyst. So we'll see how it plays out. I hope this is wrong. Unfortunately, this was right. I hope this is wrong. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do another video next September, I hope. Hopefully I'll do another video next September.